First of all, thank you for coming. On our Facebook page, which is the biggest in Britain, with over 4,500,000 people on it, we've had a lot of people saying good luck, but I can't make it. But you have taken your time today to be here. And that's because you care. We care about all those young English girls that were abused, molested, tortured and gang raped by paedophile gangs in this town. And the people who are responsible are still going about business as usual. Well, I can tell you now, that is going to change. You cannot sweep something like this under the carpet in our country without us stepping in and doing something about it. I'm going to hand you over to someone now, a very courageous young English girl. This woman has confronted more Islamic terrorists than the US Navy SEALs. She's been in more mosques than your average imam. Why? Because she loves this country. This country, our people, every single person in this crowd. We're all flesh and blood, together. One family, one country, one nation. So I'm going to hand you over now to Jayda Fransen. Big round of applause.
Thank you. I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to all of you. You know, it's overwhelming. The response that we've had is great. It really is, so thank you. And we're all here because we recognise the problems in our country. And moreover, the problem that's affected 1,400 children in this country. Now, when we see statistics in the media, when we see the figure 1,400, sometimes it's difficult to quantify, you know, it's inconceivable, 1,400 children. Well, let's just put that in context. The average student number in a secondary school, the average UK secondary school, has between 501 and 1,000 students. This is 1,400 children that we know of, that have come forward. How many haven't? How many are living with this? How many are harbouring these atrocities, and they will do for the rest of their lives? So 1,400 children, you could fill a secondary school with a number of children that had their lives ruined, their childhood ruined. Now, the facts of these cases are really uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. Words such as rape, sexual abuse, molesting, grooming, they're uncomfortable. We don't want to hear them, we don't want to say them, we don't want to read them. Now, unfortunately, these victims have to live with them. Now, we're all here because we don't want to turn a blind eye to this. We don't want to pretend that this hasn't happened. We don't want to shy away uncomfortably. These words need to be uttered. These children were raped. These children were sexually abused. These children were groomed. They had their lives ruined. And while we're on facts, let's stick with the facts. The facts of these cases are that these atrocities were carried out by Pakistani Muslims. These are the facts. The authorities shy away from these facts. The authorities turn their backs on these victims because of these facts, because they didn't want to be labelled racist, because they didn't want to disclose and to unveil the horrific acts that these Pakistani Muslims, they inflicted on the children of our great country. Yeah. So we're here because we acknowledge these facts. The authorities knew about this for a long time. The first report commissioned by the Home Office was in 2002. And what did they do? There was no action taken. Since then, 16 years have passed. No action has been taken. The police, what action did they take? What action did social services take? 16 years, these children had their lives ruined.
Outrageous!
Outrageous. And so now, we are here to bring this to the authorities, because we're not going to shy away from the facts. These are the facts. They've been presented to the British public, and we're not going to pretend we didn't hear them. We're not going to pretend that these children haven't been raped, haven't been molested, haven't been tortured, haven't been sexually groomed and passed around. The only way to recover this great nation, which is ours, which our ancestors, which are our grandparents, that they fought for, the only way to recover this is with action. Silence and ignorance will get us nowhere. Action will recover and restore our great nation. So everyone here should be proud, as I am, to say that we are Britain first, we are the British resistance, and we are bringing the fight to you until we recover our country. God save
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. As Jayda said so eloquently, you know, it's very rare you find a young English woman like Jayda. She's been charging inside mosques, she's been confronting hate preachers, and not once has she recoiled in shock or horror. She's been right there on the front line. So I think another round of applause is in due. We've heard a lot. We've heard a lot today, but I can tell you now, if only we could see or even glimpse a tiny portion of the faces of those victims, the 1,400. If only we could just get a glimpse of what they went through, it would be absolutely soul-destroying. But it went all across this town. And that's not the fault of the people of Rotherham. It's not the fault of any community. I'll tell you who's to blame here. The Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs and the corrupt politicians, the lying journalists and the scumbag social services people who turned a blind eye and hushed this great scandal up. And the police. And the police. We must not forget the police. Just one fact about some of the disclosures in that report that sparked this crisis. The police, you need to remember, these victims were not just anonymous. These were like people's daughters, people's sisters, people's cousins. 1,400 people, 1,400 young souls have had their lives destroyed because of this. And the police, when fathers tried to recover their children, when they tried to wrench them away from a life of abuse, when they knew what was going on, when they reported it and nothing was done, and they took action to try and save their daughters, what did the police do? They arrested the fathers! The worst thing about this crisis, Muslim grooming is going on all over this country, in every town and city, even places like Oxford, where there's Operation Bullfinch underway. Yeah? They've got a Muslim grooming team dealing specifically with the scourge of Muslim grooming. But the social workers and the counsellors, they deliberately and consciously hushed this up. They covered it up. They even tried to destroy the reputation of some of the young girls who were coming to them for help. They said they were undesirables. They said they was out of control. What kind of scumbag officialdom have we got in this town? These people need to be handed out of office. And I tell you now, even though this scandal has been unfolding now for the best part of a month, how many people have been arrested? How many people have lost their jobs? None. It's a disgrace. There should have been mass arrests. There should have been people all over officialdom in this town losing their jobs, but nothing was done. And then today, what do? They tell us we cannot hold up placards that say this is a Muslim grooming problem. That is a continuation of the cover-up that's been taking place in this town. It's a continuation. They're trying to silence us, just like they're trying to silence the victims, the 1,400, just like they tried to silence the mothers and fathers and the families of the victims.
Corruption.
It's a disgrace what's happening in this town. I'll give you a few examples. Me and a few of these activists here, we knew that there was a Muslim grooming problem in Bradford. We knew that English people were being treated like second-class citizens. So we went around all of the mosques in Bradford and we went into them and we spoke to the imams and we said, can you please speak out against these problems? And most of them were quite reasonable. But you know what happened afterwards? Apart from questions in Parliament, apart from emergency meetings with the Home Secretary, I'll tell you what happened. Within 4 hours of us walking in and out of public buildings, public places of worship, there was a team of detectives assembled to investigate what we'd done. 16 years later, bugger all has been done in this town.
Disgrace!
We didn't break any laws in Bradford. We went to speak to people, and it's not illegal to walk into a public place of worship and speak to people. But the police thought that was so outrageous, they assembled a team of detectives. Yet young kids, young children, some of them no more than babies, have been sexually abused, tortured, raped in this town, and no one bats an eyelid for 17 years. It's a disgrace. I've been face to face, you've probably all seen the videos online, I've been face to face with Islamic terrorists, Islamic extremists, I've been in and out of mosques trying to put pressure on the people who are threatening our country. I've been arrested 5 times this year. 5 times. The first, confronting hate preacher Anjem Chowdhury. The second, for exposing an Al-Qaeda terrorist. I've lost count, literally lost count. But every single time it's been justified and warranted because the police do bugger all, they do nothing to protect our people in this country. I've been arrested 5 times. How many times has your average Pakistani Muslim groomer in this town been arrested? Bugger all! We are second-class citizens in our own country, and unless we take to the streets, unless we join Britain First and take effective action, then this country is lost. And we are doomed in our own country. And this is not what our fathers fought for. This is not what our grandfathers and great-grandfathers fought for in the trenches or in the Battle of Britain or on the beaches of Normandy. This country is not what they fought for. And it's about time we stood up and made a stand. Otherwise, all is lost and our children have no future. Well, I got a phone call earlier, a few hours ago, before this march took place, by the police liaison officer. And she said, well, first of all, you're not allowed to walk in the road. Well, I think we told them to get stuffed on that one. And then she said that we're not allowed to use the banner that says justice for the victims of Muslim grooming. And I've been told that a few placards were confiscated by the police. What are they so scared of?
Truth!
Exactly. But we will not be silenced in our own town, in our own country. Never will we be silenced. Regardless of what the police do, regardless of what the council do, we will not be silenced or shut up. We will do what we want, when we want, within the law. So, I can tell you now that this banner, even though the police have forbidden it, will be I challenge the police to come over here and take it off us, because this is going to be shown in this town. Let's see what you've got. Let's see what you're made of. This is the truth. We want justice for the victims of Muslim grooming gangs in our own country. The police forbid this banner to be shown. Well, here it is. And what are you going to do? Are you going to treat us in the same way you treated all the parents of the victims of Muslim grooming? Are you going to arrest us? You're not going to shut up, as I tell you now. Britain first! Britain first! Britain first!
first! Fighting back!
Britain first!
Fighting back!
Britain first!
Fighting back!
Britain first!
Fighting back!
Britain first!
Fighting back!
Britain first!
Fighting back!
Well, I can tell you now, this banner is not going away. I'm not just going to flash it out for a couple of minutes. This is going at the front of our march around town now. And if the police want to stop us, good luck to them. I just want to have a round of applause, not for me or for Jayda or for anyone else, but for the people who've made the effort to be here today, the patriots of this country who really care. Big round of applause. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming out today, because this is going to reverberate all the way around this country.
Oh, come on, man. Have you got any fucking respect?
We're all nationalists, what's up with you?
We should be together.
You've had too much ale.
Stand as one like all them do. Get down.
We're all together. We're all together, we're not against each other.
Listen, you're welcome to come down and join us, it's not a problem. But you don't have to stand up there and be hostile. Come down and join our ranks. By all means. All patriots are welcome here today, on one condition: you behave yourself and you're an ambassador for the British nation, you're an ambassador for our cause, for the survival and the freedom of our people in our own country. God save the Queen! Welcome, lads. You're more than welcome to join our ranks. It's not a problem. I understand from what you just said, the police tried to stop you joining this march. That wasn't our decision. We never said anything along those lines. You're more than welcome to stand shoulder to shoulder with us. Okay? So let's continue the rest of our procession, and let's go. Just to finish up, as I said earlier, if the people, the councillors, the social workers, if the police chiefs, if they think that this scandal is going to be forgotten about, if they think that we're just going to ignore it, or it's going to fade and diminish, then they are wrong. Because I can tell you now, and you've probably seen this through our videos, Britain First is superb at tracking people down and holding them to account. We do it with Islamic terrorists. We're not going to be fearful of Labour councillors or social workers, I can tell you now. If we find people in this town, whether they're social workers, councillors, policemen, who are responsible in any way, shape or form for what's happened in this town, we're going to issue an arrest warrant for them, because that's what the police should be doing. They're perverting the course of justice. That's a crime in this country. It's a crime, and they have not been arrested. It's corrupt. This whole system in this town is corrupt. Whether it's the Labour mafia, whether it's the social workers, who are all left-wing and liberal, or whether it's the police chiefs. But they will be held to account. We will issue arrest warrants for them, and we will turn up and we will cart them off to the nearest police station. And if that lands us in jail, we don't give a damn. 5 times this year already, 5 bloody times I've been charged with harassment for supposedly harassing an Al-Qaeda terrorist living anonymously in Essex. Because I let his neighbours know where he was living, in their road. I was arrested and charged with harassment. That's how corrupt it is in this country. But these people are scum, they're criminals, and they will be held to account.
Police harassment. Well said, Wolf.
Police willing, we're going to continue with the rest of our procession now. We've made our voice known today. These pictures,
have a good look at your sends.
And this show of support will all be in the newspapers. It'll all be noted by those in authority. That's a fact. So we've done our duty here today. We're going to finish the rest of our procession, then we're going to go home. We've behaved ourselves and conducted ourselves like true British patriots. So well done to everyone.
got some blame somewhere.
Absolutely. This gentleman has just pointed out something. Let's have a round of applause. There's been an almost permanent camp or protest and demonstration outside the police station for the last, what, 3 weeks or so? But they've been out there day and night.
11 days.
Pardon?
10 days.
10 days. Pretty much ever since this scandal blew up in the media. I think they deserve a round of applause.
I've been down there every day, mate. Every day I've been down there. I'll come up and fucking this shit already. Well done, my friend. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about the hospital. I know the office.